quiet is another one. These are all things that, as I thought this past week about what peace was, that were the first things that came to my mind too. First, I thought it is an end to war. It is the absence of violence and anger and chaos. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that whenever I think of peace, I think of a lot of absences. The absence of movement, peace is stillness. The absence of loud noises, peace is quiet. When I thought of an image of peace, I thought, in fact, of a lake, the surface like glass, because there was no wind, there was no wave, there was no ripple, there was no breeze, no sound. It seems that when I think about peace, I'm not thinking of a thing at all. I'm thinking of a no thing, of an absence of something else. Peace is nothing to me. It is doing nothing. It is worrying about nothing. And so peace, as I first imagine it, is not a thing at all, but is instead a no thing. And I know some other people who might consider peace to be a no thing for some reasons that we've already named, or for some others. You see, they've only ever heard of peace as some pie-in-the-sky hope of lions and lambs laying down together, of nations who turn their weapons into tools to plow the earth, or of perhaps a hippie-like bliss, simply unnatural, against the human laws, the way the world works. A peace like this is nothing because it does not exist. It is false. It's an ideal unmet and unattainable. No matter how beautiful the image of that glassy lake, or of lions and lambs laying down together, or of tie-dye and peace signs and everyone loving everyone, this peace as we know it is nothing. It is impossibly unreal in our experience. And yet this is the only peace that the world has to offer, a nothing peace of absences. A peace that can only exist if something else doesn't. That is the no thing peace of the world. And yet that's not at all the peace that Jesus promises. Quite the opposite, in fact. We heard in our first reading that Jesus promises to give a peace to his disciples. My peace I give to you, peace I leave with you. As if peace is actually a something, a gift that can be given and held and received. Now, artist Panorama Jones offers her reflections on this same passage. And take a moment to consider exactly what she thinks peace is. This is not a no thing peace. Peace here is surely something in the hand of God. Even if we can't tell exactly what it is, it has shape and light and power and dimension. It's something that the woman can receive. See how her body is open, her hands are open to receiving it. And it doesn't come in the image of that glassy lake. Instead, there's wind whipping around. Look at how it pulls at her dress and her ribbons. There are waves in the water crashing against the shore. Nothing has had to go away. There has been no quiet, no stillness, and yet here is a something, peace of God, right where she is. Because as this artist knows, this woman is able to receive the peace of God, God's something peace, right where she is, right in her life. For the peace of God, the peace that Jesus gives, is a real peace. It's not the nothing peace that the world offers. It is a peace that exists all on its own, even if we can't quite wrap our minds around it or can't quite imagine it as something that we know. Still, it is a something peace of God. And that is the peace that we are invited to share. We're all invited to stand at this same shore and receive God's peace right now. Today, Jesus, bills pile up, disease still ravages bodies, war still divides us. And yet, we are invited to the shore to receive God's peace now, where we are. For as Jesus tells us in John, all we have to do is trust in him and trust in God. Because we know that Jesus has prepared a place for us in the Father's house. Jesus is coming back for us to take us and be with us where he is. And so when we trust in Jesus and when we hope in God, we come to this same shore with hands open to receive a something peace that the world cannot give us, even if nothing around us changes. Even if the wind still whips around us, even if waves still crash at the shore we're standing on, still we come for the peace that transcends all understanding. It's a peace that anchors us like a ship that's adrift at sea, or it's the roots that nourish us like a tree that can stand tall in the wind. We will have the peace of Christ that reassures us that God is with us now, here, whatever that now and here looks like for us. We will be secure in the hope of God. We will be safe in the peace of Christ. Not in a pie-in-the-sky, no-thing peace that the world gives us, but a something peace that can hold us close to God even when everything is not okay. Even when life is tough. The no-thing peace of the world can't exist when life is tough. But God's peace can. And so that is the peace that we come to receive, the peace of Christ. A peace that allows for calm within the chaos, for hope within the hopeless, for light in the darkness. That is the something peace of Christ. I invite you now to take a moment to imagine or remember a time when you've experienced that peace of God in your life, the kind that transcends all understanding. As you imagine it or remember it, there will be different images that come up on the screen. These are different ways that artists have thought about how the peace of Christ appears in their life. And so reflect on your own memories and these images in a way to receive God's peace now in our lives today. Friends, we are surely rooted in the peace of Christ. And when we are, our hearts can't help but to rejoice. They can't help but proclaim the wonder of God's love. And so as we have remembered or imagined the peace of Christ in our life, the peace that comes from trusting God, we are moved to prayer. The something peace of Christ moves us to a most awesome prayer of praise, to our wow prayers that we've been waiting for. We can think of them perhaps even as our love song prayers to God. That's exactly what Psalm 19 can be thought of. Listen again to the poetry and the melody as the psalmist just rejoices in God's ways. Hear it again. Oh, heaven is declaring God's glory. The sky is proclaiming his handiwork. One day gushes the news to the next, and one night informs the other what needs to be known. There's no speech, no words, but their voice goes out into all the world. The sun is like a groom coming out of his honeymoon suite, like a warrior that thrills at running its course. God's word vaults across the skies, from sunrise to sunset. The Lord's instruction is perfect, reviving one's very being. The Lord's laws are faithful, making naive people wise. The Lord's life maps are right, showing us the way to joy. Oh, the Lord's ways are more desirable than gold, than tons of pure gold. And they are sweeter than honey, even dripping off the honeycomb. Surely this is a love song prayer of wow to God. Here, as the message puts it, God's word is better than diamond, better than a diamond set between emeralds. You'll like it better than strawberries in spring. Yes, better than red, ripe strawberries, better than honey dripping from the honeycomb. That is the something peace of God. So the only question that remains for us is, what will our love song prayer of wow be when we have tasted the honey from the honeycomb, the red, ripe strawberries in spring? That is something peace of God.